Yesterday morning, this news came to us through Dave Schroutweiser. Yeah. Wow. Now we need to dig deeper into this story about the mob in Philadelphia. Reputed mob boss, 13 other alleged associates taken into custody.
And you know how they work. They give us new stuff every time they come. So we have Dave Schroutweiser and, of course, the Inquirer's George Anastasia. They're like a team now. They're a little duo. They read each other's thoughts, all that good stuff.
Which one's Robin?
Batman?
Exactly. George can be Batman. I'll do the Robin.
Okay, we'll
you look
take
good
it.
in tights.
So you have some new stuff this morning?
A little bit. George got a good column today about Joe Legambi. So we spent a lot of time talking about Anthony Stano yesterday because of the threats he was allegedly making, things like that against
Give me
people.
those. Stano was saying, I'm going to cut your head
I'll
off.
put a bullet in your head. I have two gorillas.
Yeah.
A lot of expletives in there. Chop you up, that kind of stuff. In the indictment here, talks about a company that they started, JMA, Joseph for Legambi, M for Mousy Massimino, and A for Anthony Stano.
Right, JMA Industries.
Right, and their thing was video poker machines, correct?
Yeah, and they funneled the money, legitimately issued W-2 forms, paychecks, the whole thing.
I thought video poker machines were legal, though, to put in some bars.
Not if they're rigged.
For amusement only.
Yes.
But, I mean, these machines are there to gamble. I mean, that's what it's about. People don't realize you make a lot of money with these machines.
Now, how tough are these charges? I saw a quote, I took it, I thought it was so interesting from the Daily News this morning, from Christopher Warren. He, he's represented the Philly mobsters. He says, it's really benign in terms of acts of violence. He says, what the government accuses them of doing, gambling, is now being done by states to reduce their deficits. So it's okay for Ed Rendell to do it, to fund government programs, but if the boys in South Philly cover a few bets, it's racketeering?
Yeah, but the government doesn't come around and threaten to put a bullet in your head if you don't pay up. They don't threaten to chop you up with two gorillas if you don't pay your money. What gives them the right to come around and do that? They'll say it's our money. We put the money on the street so we can do that. Interesting in here, I want to point out one quick thing. The money that from JMA, the 1099s and the W-2s, Legambi's wife named in here as the person the proceeds went through. She's not charged, but it says illegal proceeds from JMA went to her.
Can I see if I understand this? Let's say that I opened Mike and Chanel's bar down on 9th Street somewhere in South Philadelphia. Would they come to me and say, you know what you need in your bar, Mike and Chanel? You need a video poker machine. What if I say I don't want one? They would leave me alone. But what if I said, you know what? That is a good way to make some extra money.
Do I get half?
Yeah, that's exactly what
I get half.
We put it in, we'll service it, very low maintenance, and we'll split the profits. And the profits on a machine, we've talked to people, $500 to $1,000 a week.
Wow.
One machine.
So the citizens of Philadelphia are contributing to this by going into those bars and playing on something they know is illegal.
Yeah, but it's very benign. I mean, people don't care. They're going to have a beer, play the machine.
Sure. And numbers, you want to know numbers? According to the indictment, 86 machines were taken away. Do the math. If it's $500 a week, it's $2.2 million. If it's $1,000 a week, it's $4.4 million.
So is this the end of the Philly mob? Everybody keeps asking.
Every time we have one of these, is this the final nail in the coffin? No, it's always going to be there. It's just each time we have a racketeering indictment, the organization is diminished by that much. And I think what we're seeing is this is hardly what it used to be 10, 20 years ago.
Most of us know about the mob from watching The Sopranos and things like that. Does that type of behavior go on here, the violent aspect of it?
Oh, it has. There's 4 or 5 mob murders, unsolved mob murders, that are not in this indictment that we expect to see charges on sooner or later. You know, everybody always asks George and I, why do you spend so much time talking about the mob? Lanny Brewer, the Assistant U.S. Attorney General yesterday, hearkened all the way back to Robert Kennedy to say we will still fight organized crime the way Robert Kennedy fought it in the 60s. If it's not so important, why have there been 4 major mob takedowns in the last 2.5 years, almost 300 mobsters and associates, and they're still making money?
You know what it is, Dave? It's because they hear this, some people who don't follow this closely see gambling and they go, oh, they're not really like they used to be. But is it just because they can't get those charges to stick? So these are the kinds of things they can go after?
They go after, George said this yesterday.
Yeah.
The things they can prove.
Yeah, and that's what we have here. We've got what you have is an economic enterprise. Legambi, in a lot of ways, was like Bruno. Stay in the shadows, make money, not headlines. This was all about making money. Eventually, we may see some of the violence. We saw threats of violence here. But this was all about making money, and he made a lot of money.
Why do people get into the mob in Philadelphia?
Part of it is it's almost family. You look second, third generation. I mean, it's what it is. These guys don't know
into it.
Yeah.
So we keep
it's the lure. That's what it is.
Finally, we keep hearing about Joey Merlino in Florida. I mean, would he come up here? Would it be too risky for him to try and get involved in any of this, or what?
Well, he can't just move on his own.
Well,
he's in a halfway house. But the bottom line is we're already hearing that he's moving the chess pieces on the board here.
Really?
George will tell you a little bit.
Yeah, he's got guys up here, and I think he'll operate as, they'll be the proxy for Joey.
Yeah.
Joey will decide whether it's smart to physically come here or to stay in Florida.
Manzona Cianglini, are they in Philly?
Mazzone and Cianglini,
Yeah.
And they're buddies.
They're possibles. They're Joey's former top guys. We talked about the hierarchy of the Legambia group going down yesterday. That's the hierarchy of the Merlino family.
Guys, thanks for coming in.
Good to see you guys.
Anytime.
How much vacation time do you get at your job?